As life goes on, so does the creation of more ways to step up your game when you are on the go. Our videos discussing ways to make your portable Google Stadia experience better are amongst the most popular with you guys, so it stands to reason I would finally talk about one of the more popular options out there. The X2 from Gamesir has been out for quite some time, and it's been one I haven't talked about just yet, and I'm very interested to see how this holds up against the Razer Kishi and the Backbone One when it comes to playing Google Stadia games on your iPhone. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to hit subscribe, turn that bell notification on to stay up to date with new content on this channel. We do like to try to get 3 videos out there a week to you guys on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so that bell notification is very important so you can get up to date with it. And of course, if you hit that like button as well, that would really help us out because it'll help more people find this channel just like you did. And much like my Backbone One video I talked about, I don't want to constantly compare the Gamesir X2 with other devices that I've tried out on this channel because I want this to kind of stand on its own, to be independent. Of course, I'll make references to those 2 devices because I think it may be worthwhile or noteworthy to you. Eventually, we'll do a comparison with all 3 in one video so you can get a real good idea of which one is the one to go with, although I've probably hinted at it way too many times, so you probably know my personal answer, but we're going to try to do this as independent as possible. In my Backbone video, I mentioned that the Backbone controller almost looks like it was designed step by step after the Stadia controller. Well, the Gamesir is no different in borrowing from the gaming world. While the Android-based version of the Gamesir is almost exactly a one-for-one copy of the Joy-Cons on the Nintendo Switch, the Bluetooth version of the X2, which is what we're reviewing today, is almost an exact one-to-one copy of the Nintendo Switch Lite, which delivers some of the Gamesir's biggest benefits and some of its biggest drawbacks. Now, I have no experience with Gamesir products at all, so this is my first introduction to them. So let's talk about the best things about the Gamesir X2, and then we're going to talk about the drawbacks. So we're going to start with the shortest part of the video first. Spoiler alert. So the coolest thing about the Gamesir X2, I wouldn't say the coolest, but one of the coolest things about it is it comes with a carrying case. I can't stress how cool carrying cases are when it comes to things like this. I don't know why. It's just one of those, I guess, finer things in life, if you will. So it comes with a carrying case. It also comes with a USB Type-C cable because you'll need to power on the Gamesir X2 when it comes to keeping a charge. So speaking of charges, you're going to get about 20 hours of charge time on a full battery, which I think is a very good amount of time. It'll have plenty of time to charge every night if you need to, or it should last you the whole week if you play maybe a couple hours here and there. So that's a really cool aspect of it. Now, another cool aspect of the Gamesir X2 is its form factor in terms of how small it is and the real estate it takes up. For something that has a battery in it, this is actually not that bad. I cannot say a bad thing about how small it is. Additionally, it's a retractable housing. Unlike the Razer Kishi, which has the elasticity, this is similar to the Backbone One where it's going to kind of retract on you and it'll just kind of sit in place to where you need to be. Not bad at all, right? And I think that's about where all the good things will stop. I'm sorry. The Gamesir X2 is one of the more popular options out there, and I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure why. It might be the price point. The price point is $60, and I guess that is another benefit of it. And you pick it up at the Gamesir's official website. It will take you over to AliExpress, which I cannot really recommend. I will recommend Amazon because I did get same-day shipping with it, having a Prime account. And if you want to help the channel out, you can even do that too by clicking the link down in the comment section down below. And there's Prime deals going on as of the recording of this video, so you might be able to pick up a discount as well. The price point's good, okay? But that's where the biggest benefits of the Gamesir, in my personal opinion, end. As someone that's tried out other controllers, and I said I would do my best not to bring up other controllers, it needs to be said because I've had that experience. That being said, let's just start with the build quality first. Build quality, it doesn't feel premium. It just feels like, you know, you're the cheapest possible plastic you can pick up. The grips on the back, they're rubberized, which is not bad, but that kind of brings up the point of this has no grips. This is very much like the Nintendo Switch Lite, and if you've had a chance to hold the Switch Lite, you know it's probably one of the most uncomfortable experiences that you'll ever have. There's a reason why that things like the Satisfy grip do exist, and that's how I have to play on my Switch Lite. And I never play my actual Nintendo Switch in portable mode for the same exact reason. The Joy-Cons are not ergonomic. And this is the same thing. When it comes to mobile gaming, it needs to be ergonomic. Unless you're going to play maybe 10 to 20 minute sessions, and that fact, if you're going to play that short a time, you could probably just use the touch controls. this probably isn't it. So the build quality itself, it's kind of a cheap plastic. It's fine, whatever. It's going to get you that $60 price point. It's got rubberized gripping to hold everything, which isn't bad. The one thing that's bad, and I'll show here on screen, is with the iPhones, the way the camera module is set up, it's going to create a bad holding for this, if that makes sense. It's going to kind of bend it a little bit because the cameras cannot sit in there properly. Now, this is not going to be the same for every single phone, and it may not be the same for every single iPhone, but I'm pretty sure the iPhones all start at the same point on the phone when it comes to the camera module, so it's always going to have that weird bend to it when you have the phone in here. You may say, well, flip it around, and it has bumped up, so it's weirdly placed on here. Next up, the shoulder buttons are shoulder buttons. There's nothing to write home about them. They're not bad. They seem to respond pretty well. But when it comes to responding pretty well, the face buttons have an issue. The A, B, X, Y buttons I've had to press a little harder, had to double tap in certain aspects. It just wasn't that great. On the front, you also have 4 additional buttons, which you have a start select button and what you would perceive to be a home and some other kind of button. I have not looked at the manual, probably should in some respects, but it seems to be there's some extra buttons here for whatever reason. You think there'd be a capture button and a home button, but it's not the case. The home button is actually the Bluetooth pairing button you see here on the bottom. So and you'll probably see this on screen as I did record it, is you have to press that to get the Stadia home screen up. And if you hold it, that's how you're going to get the go out of the game screen to pop up on Stadia. It's not great with that respect. Another bad thing about these face buttons, so the select button that you would typically press, if you're playing a game like Destiny, there's a certain point where you're going to need to hold that button to bring up the map to change where you're going on the planets that you might be on or whatever the case may be. The point is, you have to hold select. When you hold the select button on the Gamesir X2, it's going to take a screenshot. So there's no way that I have figured out that you can hold the select button on the Gamesir X2 and accomplish what you're trying to do in game. That is a problem if you have to hold the select button for anything. Moving on to the D-pad, this is probably the best thing about the X2. It's fine for what it is. It's not 8 directions, so that's a negative against it. But when I was playing something like Sonic on here, it performed just fine. It was good. No complaints. The thumbsticks, however, is probably the biggest drawback of this entire thing. These thumbsticks, I've never witnessed thumbsticks that were smaller than this. And I don't know if you can get an idea for how small these are, but maybe I'll hold up the Stadia controller next to it and kind of get an idea. It's really hard to tell, but these thumbsticks are ludicrously small. If you think the Joy-Con thumbsticks are small and hard to use, you have not used these at all. All right, it is not very conducive to competitive play. Not many mobile game controllers are good for competitive play. The Backbone one is kind of there, but the Gamesir X2 is nowhere near there. It is not good. That being said, the build quality of them are pretty good. I actually think that's probably the best built thing in this thing. It has clickable buttons, so there's an L3 and R3 inputs with it, but they're very small. If you're going to play anything with dual analog sticks, you're probably not going to have a good time here. Some additional things about this. It's not bad. The latency I've noticed with this, I haven't noticed any. I don't have the means to really test it out. I'm sure there are videos out there that can test it out. I haven't had a problem with it. So when I play a game like Sonic, it registers the inputs and my brain reacts that like, okay, this makes sense. Everything's performing as should be. So I haven't had an issue with that. That was my biggest concern, but I didn't have any issues using an Xbox controller, which runs off Bluetooth, and that's been fine for me using Stadia. So Bluetooth latency, I don't notice anything. It's fine. Other downfalls, however, with this, it runs on a battery, so you'll have to charge it, which may be a good thing or a bad thing for you if you don't like plugging things in for whatever reason. It doesn't have headphone pass-through, so you're going to have to use Bluetooth headphones as well. I mentioned this back in the Kishi video. Come on, it's 2021. Use Bluetooth headphones at this point. But again, that's important to some people, and that's something that, say, the Backbone 1 does have, and it's a benefit for others. Also, it does not have pass-through charging. So if you want to charge your phone while you're playing this, obviously you can't do it because you're connected via Bluetooth. So these are some things to note that is important out there. And of course, if you have additional questions about it, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll be more than willing to answer them for you. But I didn't want to ramble this video for too long because I think a lot of this can be said pretty quickly. Among my least favorite ways to play any games on my phone, and I hate being so negative on something, but I know this is popular out there in the Stadia community that people look to possibly picking up. They may be interested in it, and a lot has to do with that price point, the $60 price point. Now, if you're someone maybe strapped for cash and this is your best bet, then by all means, it's probably going to be enough to get you by. As someone with big hands, it's not good for me. Like, my hands cramp up playing with this thing. I cannot play for too long before my hand just starts screaming at me. When I was recording the videos for this review, I had to stop for half a minute because my hand just cramped up so bad. I just couldn't do it. It is not ergonomic, as the kids would say. It didn't feel great. But again, it's a way you can play Stadia on the go. It's a way. It's not the way. It's not a good way, in my opinion. But if you're looking for a cheap option, there's probably cheaper options out there. If you're looking for a premium device to play on your iPhones, I would do my best to just save up for a backbone one, because I really think those are the top of the line when it comes to playing Stadia on the go, outside of using the Stadia Claw and the Stadia controller itself. But the Gamesir X2, I cannot in good conscience really recommend this product to anyone unless you find it on a really good deal and you're just looking for a mobile gaming controller. Other than that, I wanted to like it. I really did, because I know a lot of people like this device. I know a lot of people use this device, especially in the Stadia community, but it's not for me. The Nintendo Switch Lite, I love, but if I couldn't get a grip for it, I wouldn't own the Nintendo Switch Lite, because that thing is way too small and just not conducive to playing video games in portable mode, and this looks exactly like it. So if you've had a chance to play the Gamesir X2, what have been your thoughts on it? Leave it in the comment section down below. If you could, like this video, as we already mentioned, and subscribe, and share this video with a friend that might be interested in picking up the Gamesir X2, because this may be stopping them from picking up something that they may not actually be interested in. Show my backbone one video or something. Again, in the future, we are going to be doing a breakdown comparison of the three: the Razer Kishi, the backbone one, and the Gamesir X2, to kind of give you an overlay of the top 3 options out there in the world of Google Stadia. But in the meantime, I want to thank you for your support, and we will catch you down the road. Thank you. Thanks again for watching. If you are new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Of course, hit that bell notification so you get up-to-date notifications on when we go live with a brand new video. We also do all our Stadia live streams here on this channel as well. So again, that will get you notified when we go live every single time. And if you haven't already, hit the like button, because that's how more Stadia fans will find this content just like you did. And if you like this video, you might like this video up here, and you might like the video underneath it. So go ahead and check those out. And in the meantime, always, 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 thank you for your support.